Hey everybody. So, sorry I've been a little slow on the content lately. Been really really sick and and I'm trying to kick this freaking flu, man. So, I've been a little slow on the news cycle here, but I did want to get my thoughts out about Nick Saban and his retirement. I mean, this is, I'm a Georgia Tech YouTuber, but this is big enough news. I'm also a college football fan in general. I know I don't make a ton of generally college football content, but Nick Saban retiring is such a huge deal. It's like impossible for me to not address. So, I mean, he's the greatest to ever do it, the greatest coach ever in college football. And honestly, I don't think what he was able to accomplish will ever be done by anyone again. Um, Lately, since 2020, it seems like the field has gotten a lot. There's a lot more parity. It seems like there hasn't been. I can't think of a team since 2021 season that has been like far and away the best team, like untouchable. Like some of these years past, um, it just hasn't happened. So it seems like the game is getting a lot more equal. I mean, we're having Michigan. They just won their first national title since the 90s, and it seems like things are kind of shifting, which is a good thing. I think more parity is always a good thing. I like seeing new faces at the table, unless it's Georgia, but like I said, I don't think what Saban was able to do, like his run of dominance over the sport, is ever going to be repeated. It's going to be really tough, especially because now you're going to the power conference, whatever it is, and they're going to be all playing each other now. It's going to be really hard to go undefeated and everything like that, and run the freaking show year after year after year after year, especially when you got to play all those teams over and over. So it's gonna be interesting. College football is changing very fast. It's gonna be looking very different next year, and it makes sense that he's gonna retire. I mean, you think about how many things are gonna be different next year. Well, there's no more Pac-12. Um, and there's going to be a 12-team playoff. It's going to be a lot different next year. And so Saban retires after failing to get to the Natty this year, and it was crazy because this was the only year that he was at. This was the only period of time when he was at Alabama where he didn't win a Natty in a 3-year span. He never went 3 years without winning a Natty until lately. So I think the game is just changing too quickly, and he's not able to kind of assert his will over it anymore, like he used to be able to, and he decided to hang it up as the greatest of all time and an untouchable record. Well, it might be touched one day, but we'll have to see. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon though. Nick Saban, an absolute beast, greatest to ever do it, and I'm gonna miss him. He was the only one to consistently beat Georgia over the past recent memory. He was the only one that was able to ever take down the sons of bitches on a regular basis. So I always appreciated him for that, if nothing else. But and then of course you have Kalen Deboer coming in to replace him, which is interesting. I mean, talk about striking while the iron's hot. A lot of the times you'll see some of these coaches that their name gets hot and they'll stay where they were at. Like, remember how hot of a name Jeff Brom was at Purdue there for a while, or Matt Campbell at Iowa State was a really hot name. But they decided to stay, and then, of course, they started losing, and their name lost kind of that appeal. Well, Kalen Deboer, I mean, he takes Washington to the Natty, and his name's red hot, and he strikes while the iron's hot and gets the most coveted job in college football, or one of the most coveted jobs. I mean, people have been talking for years and years and years about who is going to take over, who could possibly take over the Alabama job once the greatest of all time leaves. And nobody had ever even heard of Kalen DeBoer a couple years ago, and now he's got the job. I mean, people were saying Dabo, or there was all kind of names getting thrown out there. Well, turns out it's this guy that kind of got hot there at Washington, and no, I think he's a good choice. Don't get me wrong. He's something like 104 and 12 or something. He's got like an amazing record. He's something like 72 and 1 at home. Just insane winning percentages from Kalen DeBoer in his coaching career. So, he's a really good coach. So, I'm impressed with the hire. I thought it was going to be Dabo, but looks like they probably didn't want Dabo because of his refusal to use the transfer portal. And it's funny, like, all these coaches now are coming out with hype videos about how they want to stay at whatever school they're at. Dabo did it. Oregon, Dan Lanning did it. Steve Sarkisian did it that I've seen. So that's always funny. You got to make a hype video saying that you're going to stay. It reminds me of the players who make a hype video saying that they're not entering the transfer portal, which we had a bunch of, like, our entire offense did that this offseason. It's just funny. It's just funny. I'm sorry. I feel like such crap. I'm sorry if this was a terrible video. I just wanted to get my kind of thoughts out on the situation. It's a monumental time in college football. And one more thing that I kind of observed about this, and not only this, but the Texas A&M hire, is that if you think about it, in the same cycle, you had Texas A&M and Alabama go lose their coach, and it didn't cause this huge chain reaction kind of coaching carousel. Well, I mean, I guess depending on whatever Washington does, but I mean, Texas A&M just goes and gets Mike Elko. They hire Manny Diaz. That's it. Then you have Nick Saban. They just get Washington, and it's not like Washington's gonna steal some coach from somebody, and they might steal some mid-level coach from a school maybe, but other than that, it's just something I observed, is that it's crazy to me how the Texas A&M and Alabama job come up in the same cycle and don't cause some kind of huge, like, coaching carousel like the other year where you had, like, the Notre Dame and LSU job come open, and it with Brian Kelly, and it caused this whole thing. So that was just something I had observed. Anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on the situation. It's been pretty entertaining to follow. Sorry, hopefully I can get back to making videos here soon if I can kick this flu. But all right, y'all. Go Jackets. I'll see you next time.